Hey, this is Fred Ottman, Tugboat Typhoon, the Shockmaster, the B-A-double-D, Big Steel Man. And the card is subject to change. Watch it.
Welcome back to the show!
Welcome back to the show!
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, I am Never Wrong Nick Bull. I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network. Of course, we are Card Subject to Change podcast, powered by Low Pies Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. So thankful for all those people who are able to help us make that possible and bring it to you here on the For Frequency's Sake network. Of course, I've introduced myself. I am Never Wrong Nick Bull. So happy you're here in our little niche of the world, which is the Card Subject to Change podcast. I'd be remiss if I did not mention my tag team partner. He is one half of this show. He's the booker man. He's a wizard. He can do it all. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing, bud?
Man, it has been a long weekend, but a good weekend. And I'm glad we're here chatting about what we're going to talk about. Do want to let everybody know who's watching this. This is not a live broadcast. We are having trouble going live. Technical difficulties happen. So we are recording right now, and this will be broadcast. You are watching a recorded version of this show posted later on tonight, which is now, if you're watching it now. And I'm just rambling.
The only difference between now and any other show is this isn't live. But
Right.
It really is kind of live since we do it in one take. We never edit. That's
Right.
just kind of how we've rolled since the beginning. A little peel the curtain back, a little secret behind the show. We don't edit. We go straight live. So if we make a mistake, we make a mistake. Kind of like a wrestling match. I mean, they don't start it over. I mean, it isn't Jey Uso's entrance music. We don't get to play it again. So, or do it over. So we're on the fly here. So we're glad you're here. We're glad you're with us. You said it was a long, weekend, but a good tired. What, I know what we're talking about here tonight, but, is it because it's a TK show and it ran late on a Saturday night, or you're just tired?
A little bit of both. I will give a shout out to the flagship show of the network, For Fantasy's Sake. They had a live broadcast this morning from the Last Picture House, which was cool. They did a good job, had a good time. I was up early to be there. I stayed up. We were up. Nick, I don't think you left the house here until midnight-ish.
Yeah, the pay-per-view ended at 11:49.
Yeah, so late night there, and then I was up at 7, so I did get a bit of a nap in, got a little bit, about an hour or so that I'm not complaining about that. But no, I'm excited. We haven't talked AEW in a little bit. I think the last show we reviewed for them was All In, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, last couple pay-per-views for whatever reason we just haven't gotten to it or didn't watch the show or weren't going to be around for it, but we were.
Life happens, right?
It happens. It happens when you're going to other things or watching other stuff. So it's no slight, no diss to them, but the stars aligned this time, and we were able to review WrestleDream, which took place, as we usually record this on Sunday afternoon, evening, took place last night, Saturday, not too far from us here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes.
It's WrestleDream. I believe it's the third installment of the WrestleDream series. Of course, WrestleDream is like a tribute show initially to Antonio Inoki's passing by Tony Khan. St. Louis is a pretty, wrestling-rich city. So they got the pay-per-view this year. And the card was interesting to me. It wasn't like I wanted I was looking forward to every match on here, but there were 3 matches that probably grabbed my attention. So, yeah, let's review it. Why not? That was kind of my attitude going into the show.
I would say about the same. There were 3 matches that grabbed my attention. I would say, I will preface this. One of them was on the pre-show, but it leaked into the main show. So
yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't work for Tony Khan, so I don't know if it was planned that way, if it was a timing issue for the, what do they call it now? It's not the 0 hour anymore. It's tailgate brawl.
Yeah, it was a tailgate brawl last night. You know what? I don't know what it was, to be honest with you. We're talking about FTR and Jet Speed closing out the tailgate brawl, and they're doing entrances for the match with like 5 minutes left in the pre-show. I'm like, they're not going to get this match over before the pre-show's over. So that match bled into the main show, main card of WrestleDream. I don't know exactly what time it ended, but it was well into the show, and then they began the show. But I do remember saying, we've watched 2.5 matches after the first hour. I'm talking about the half match being the FTR and Jet Speed, and then the 2 subsequent matches. And it's just the timing. I mean, I'll just get it out in the air right now. Like the thing that kills me with this show was the timing and the ending. There were some things I liked. There were some things I didn't. But for the most part, there was more stuff I liked than what I didn't. But the timing of this show, running a show, cutting off a show because you only paid for 30-minute extra satellite time and you haven't wrapped it up at 29 yet. Like, come on, guys. You guys have been doing this for like 6 years now. Let's go. Figure this crap out.
And here's the thing. We've been critical on Tony Khan's timing of his shows because of their horrendous length. But, I mean, he doesn't put on a bad product. There are always good matches to go back and think about and enjoy. But I'm glad this was a Saturday show because I know Tony won't run against his dad during the football season. Won't run against football. So I'm very grateful this was a Saturday show and not a Sunday show where I had to work the next morning and was up until midnight or beyond.
Oh, I'm fine. It was a Saturday show. And, it was 4.5 hours long, man. If it was 3.5, I probably would have liked it a lot more. I'm going to be honest with you because this isn't, I know there's no rules in pro wrestling or whatever, but like this isn't a Mania or a SummerSlam. This isn't an All Out or a Forbidden Door or a Double or Nothing. This is WrestleDream. It's like a B pay-per-view for you guys, and you're going 4.5 hours. I didn't like that part of it. I did like matches on it though. There were things I liked, but the length for the most part, and some of the matches going as long as they did was just, it's just a constant thing for me that I just can't get over. That I don't like that they do.
Oh, without a doubt.
I'm nitpicking here, probably. I don't care.
Well, that's what we do. We break down and we give our thoughts. Our opinions are our own. So if you share our opinions, great. If you don't, great. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. But no, you and I have always been critical of the length of time Tony's shows are and the number of matches and how long certain matches go. Right. I know you and I don't always talk this up, but I don't think there's a show out there that we've seen that you couldn't trim a little fat off of, even if it's just a tiny bit.
For sure.
And this was definitely a show that there could have been some fat trimming.
Agreed. I fully agree with you there, but let's, I don't know where you want to start.
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
You go right ahead, man. It's your show, man.
I mean, let's talk about, we touched on it a little bit. Let's talk about that pre-show match leaking into the main card. I mean, if it was on purpose, that's quite a unique way to start a show. I'll be honest. It gives a hot start.
I would say so. It's a hot start right out the gate. Like you turned in, you're like, wow, okay. I missed the pre-show. What am I missing here? Why is this match on the show? That's your first question. I don't know. Why wasn't this match on the show regularly? I would have rather seen these two tag teams wrestle than a couple of tag team matches that were on the show. However, I'm glad it was on the main card. FTR and Jet Speed, I like them. They work well together.
They do.
And then, of course, Stokely helping FTR get the cheap win by holding the feet. I think it was Bailey. It was Jets. It was Kevin Knight that he held the feet.
Kevin Knight, yep.
And the subsequent fallout after that, them celebrating. But I like these guys. I could watch, a feud with these two. I hope we get more matches with these two, and I hope there's titles on the line in the future when these two teams get to each other. I think they're good dance partners / workers with each other for a program.
And I don't know Kevin Knight as well as I know Speedball Mike Bailey. I followed Speedball a little bit more than I followed Kevin, but these two mesh well, and I'm glad they're partnered together. I can't wait to see where they go as a team, and I can't wait for the eventual breakup, because that's going to be a match that's going to, or possibly a series of matches that's going to blow the roof off the place.
Sure. I mean, I want them to be a team for a while, but that match when they break up will be good. That'll be good. But glad, question why they started on the pre-show and ended on the regular show. I don't know. I didn't stick around for the presser afterwards, and I didn't see anything online today with it being football going on. I kind of stayed away from the wrestling until the showtime came, but I didn't hear anything why that was. It was weird. I think it caught a lot of people off guard.
Very much so. But that's not a bad thing. Like I said, a hot start sometimes is good.
Right.
It's different. We had a lot of decent matches on the show. We had some good tag matches. Maybe not great tag matches, but there was quite a few tag matches or trios matches on this. And I know tag matches are right up your alley. Maybe not these two teams, but let's kind of jump ahead a little bit and talk about the Young Bucks, or should we say the Broke Bucks?
Yeah, the Broke Bucks and the Jungle Boy Jurassic Express, or whatever, the Jurassic Express. I dig the Bucks thing they're doing right now, where they don't have enough money for the full pyro entrance with Titantron and whatnot, and that they needed this.
They didn't have music either, did they?
I don't think so. And it's for $500,000, and they're just shy. They need this money, and then you've got the reunited Jurassic Express, which, they're over. Okay, I'm not a particular fan of them, but they're back together. Fans seem to like it, and I'm interested in this match just to see like the Bucks play this gimmick out. And I really thought it was probably the best tag match on the card of the night. If you want to talk about it, between trios and tag, this was probably the best tag match of the night on the main card. The Bucks this might be the best the Bucks have been in a while, in my opinion, with how they're doing their things. They're down and out, and it's not that they're taking these losses. It's like, how can they make this story better each week? And they're finding a way. So I'm giving the Bucks some credit there. But I enjoyed this match. I thought it was one of the better matches on the card. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that match. What about you?
I agree. I'm not a big fan of Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus, I can take or leave. I don't have anything against really either of them. They're not my cup of tea. But the same with the Bucks. They're not my cup of tea either normally. But this match, like you said, it was probably the best tag match on the card. They do a good job together. These are another pair of dance partners that work well together. And they show it with everything they do in the ring. I don't know. As far as like the Jungle or Jurassic Express being back together, these things, it happens. People go back and forth. You see tag teams break up. You see them get back together. You see things like that. It's a story that's been told from many different angles, many different times. But the dynamic of the Bucks and their excuse me, they're being broke and trying to get this $500,000 so they can get out of the hole, get out of the red. It adds an interesting dynamic. I don't know. I would tag with you for $500,000, Nick. I don't care who it's
Yeah, I guess for $500,000 I'd tag too. I mean, hopefully we're going over in that match with that kind of money. I could put that to use. So
right.
I could put that to use. But no, I really enjoyed the match between Jurassic Express and the Bucks. And like I said earlier, I think it was the best tag match on the card. I wish the tag match, the tag title match was as good as this tag match was, because that's the match I was kind of looking forward to the most on the card, and one of the matches, I was looking forward to the most on the card, and then kind of let me down. But this was a good match. Bucks and Jurassic Express did a great job.
Oh, I agree. Let's just talk about the tag title match. Let's just jump right into it. You had Brodito going against the Don Callis family, Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, your boy. Interesting dynamic with the Don Callis family. How Takeshita and Okada just absolutely can't stand each other.
I wonder if they're building for something for Wrestle Kingdom. I mean, because Takeshita is the brand new reigning, current defending IWGP World Champion. Just took the belt off Zack Sabre Jr. in the last week. He's the new champ. And, of course, that also heightens the tensions between him and Okada, who are both under the Don Callis family umbrella, but they both have an animosity and jealousy towards each other. Here they are tagging against Brody King, and Bandito, the current reigning defending AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Yes, and Bandito being the current Ring of Honor World Champion as well.
Right.
Which, for the aspect of Takeshita and Okada's exchanges, this was good. I enjoyed that part of it. The match went 27 minutes, 25 seconds. And I could shave at least 15 off of that.
What did Bucks and Jurassic Express go?
They went 21:35.
I would have bet they went less than 20. Like, you could easily have cut 10 to 15 minutes off this match, the tag title match, and it would have been so much better of a match. It just seemed to go on and on and on. And then it gets longer when you realize, oh, this match is left, and this match is left, and that match is left. So I wish they could have cut a lot off this match, and it wouldn't have ruined the integrity of the story they were telling. There was just a lot of excess in there that they could have, in my opinion.
Not only that, and we'll talk about it more later, but it would have given more time for the main event to have a finish that actually meant something. We'll get to that. To that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But no, these two teams are not bad together. I like that Brodito are the tag team champions. They hold the titles well. But yeah, this match was way too long. Story could have been told in about 12 to 15 minutes at the most.
What was the longest match of the night? Was it the main event?
Double checking. Yes, the main event was the longest match, but not by a lot. No, I sit corrected. That was the longest match on the main event. Went 25-25. This was 2 minutes heavier.
No, should have been 10 minutes less. That's where I'll stay. It was too long. I lost interest in it.
We're talking about the Callis family. Might as well switch gears and talk about Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT Championship against Mark Briscoe. Nick, you had a pretty hot take last night. I'm going to let you, if you want to spill that, go ahead.
talking with my buddy Kyle Tobias the other night on back and forth on text, and he kind of put it out there, and I kind of threw some flames on it and added to it. And it's like Mark Briscoe should not be in these matches, or should not be going over in these matches. I agree. Like, he needs to be a guy on television that's putting guys over. He doesn't need to be in these showcase matches. Stand the thing with him and MJF, whatever, build up something. Well, it's done. Like, you need to be taking the spot of somebody else. Briscoe, God bless Jay Briscoe. I'm a huge Briscoes fan from Ring of Honor. Their wrestling matches with ER, but he doesn't need to be in these matches. I'm sorry.
No, and nothing against Mark Briscoe. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I agree. This spot could have given the shine to someone newer or someone hotter than Mark Briscoe in a title match against Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher's coming off of a recent World Heavyweight Championship match against Hangman in the last couple of months. He's the current TNT champion. So he's got some skill. He's got some talent. Let's put him in with someone who can help showcase Kyle Fletcher, and who Kyle Fletcher can help showcase.
But to me, this match,
yes,
it really didn't. Nothing seems special to me about it. No, don't get me wrong. Kyle Fletcher's special. I think something really, really, really good. He's not there yet, but I think he's going to be really, really good. He's getting polished up. He's so young, but man, he's going to be really, really good.
And you want to talk about match lengths? This was the longest singles match on the card.
How long?
24:45.
And it was Briscoe. It was Briscoe. It was part 5. This was part 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Once again, too long in my opinion. We've seen these guys. This is the 5th time. We didn't need to see this. This didn't be the longest. No. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with it. But that doesn't make it bad. I just don't like it.
No, I'm going to say I'm right there with you. That's the main issue I have with AEW is their length. They put too many. They think that a match has to be over 20 minutes to be good, and it doesn't. They think that a show needs to be 4.5 hours to be good, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. I mean, I hate to sit here and be like, this show sucked, blah, 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 because I didn't. I'll probably end up giving it a decent grade because there were some matches I liked.
I agree.
But the timing and, donating, a good chunk of my due. God, I'm starting to ask old man get on my lawn, but at the same time,
you should go out and yell at some clouds.
I don't see anything though.
I
look at then like that guy's mad. There's no clouds in the sky.
Oh, where should we go next, Nick? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, whatever, dude. Any way you want to pivot. We were talking about, of course, WrestleDream took place this weekend at AEW in St. Louis. This is episode 221 of the Card Change Podcast. Of course, we're the podcast by the fan for the fan. We are powered by Low Pies Pizza, built by Durham Ramon, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoos. So glad to have those guys aboard the For Frequency's Sake podcasting network.
Yes.
Now
let's do this, Nick. We're about 24 minutes into the show. Why don't we haven't had a chance to take breaks in a while and promote the other shows on the network. We have a milestone episode coming up for the flagship show in November. And I think we should just take a minute to promote their 100th episode celebration. So let's pause for the call.
You're telling me I can stand up for a minute and move around?
Yes.
I'll listen, but I can stand up and move.
That's fair. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll be back after this in just a minute.
Big news, fantasy fans. We are hitting a huge milestone. the 100th episode of For Fantasy's Sake, and we're going back to where it all began, Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill in Rock Island. Mark your calendars, Sunday, November 16th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. Join the crew for football talk, fantasy insights, laughs, and a little friendly banter as we celebrate 100 episodes and dive into the rest of the fantasy season. Expect giveaways, league chatter, and maybe even a few surprise guests. Grab a drink, hang out, and be a part of the live recording at the bar that's been our home from the very start. Whether you've been with us since episode 1 or just joined this season, this is one party you won't want to miss. See you at Kavanaugh's.
Hey everybody, this is Hollywood from the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and you're listening to the Card Subject to Change podcast. I hope you enjoy it. Have a good day. Bye.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. Oh.
Thanks to Hollywood for recording that tag last year when we met her at the Sandra Lee Memorial Car and Bike Show. Shout out to Ricky Lee, who runs those shows. We'll be talking more about that in the coming months as he's getting ready for the 5th annual show. But no, you can always go back into our archives, check out the interview we had with Hollywood at the car show, as well as us talking about her directly here in the studio about her book and her wrestling life. So
yeah, that was awesome when hey, I'm writing a book. Well, we need you to come back on when you get the book out. And she did. It was great. Go back in an archives. Yes. Of course, you can find all those on YouTube, correct?
Correct.
Susie?
At CSTC Podcast. Just look for our logo. We have all of our shows there, with the exception of Wrestling with Fitness. Wrestling with Fitness does have its own Facebook page, YouTube page. We do have our own Facebook, but the archives for that show is on YouTube in full if you want to check that out. But Wrestlebacks, Card Subject to Change, all our archives are on YouTube. Check it out. Like, share, subscribe, send to your friends. Tell a friend, tell a wrestler, tell everybody. A lot of women showcased on this pay-per-view, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe my, up there favorite match, second favorite match. We'll talk about, my favorite thing going in AEW right now, Timeless Toni Storm.
Yes.
And Kris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. Toni Storm dropped it to Kris Statlander at All Out.
All Out.
At All Out. Gets the rematch. The promo during it were very good. Not only has Tony's in-ring work decent, but the promo work has just exceeded and gone above and beyond. Like, she just turned 30, CZ. Like, she seems so much older than that with the character she portrays. But this is a fun evolution we are watching, and I'm glad for. And she's just like Don Moxley. She is a 4-time champion for her respective belt in AEW. So her and Crest was really good. I anticipate Statlander hold on to the belt. Really did. Because she's been A1 in AEW. I think she has made huge strides since those early years of AEW, and has really polished up her stuff in the ring. Her character work has gotten a lot better. Like, before, she was this alien Andromeda. Now it's like, it's a believable character you can get behind now.
Right.
And, having 2 wins over Toni Storm in a 7-year is a pretty big deal, especially in the AEW women's division, and a title win and a title defense. Statlander's at the top of the game right now. Although some would argue, your girl in AEW, Mercedes Ultimo Monet, she had 10 belts coming in. Now she's got 11. She's got lackeys carrying her belts. I wonder who those lackeys are.
Aren't they the frat party or the frat boys?
That's right. They their names off. But there was a moment last night we were talking about Ring of Honor champions, Ring of Honor this, and there was something we didn't know about Ring of Honor. Why is that still behind a pay window? Why aren't they just put that on YouTube? Why don't they put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
would make a lot of sense.
I think Griff Garrison's the only one I can name in that group. That's because he's being a tag team with Brian Pillman Jr., who's now Lexus King. But yeah, I would like to know what's going on in the Ring of Honor. Kind of brushed to the side over there.
And I'll piggyback off of that. I don't like who Mercedes Moné's opponent was, not the person, because it had to be someone with a championship. And I really think with the way they are treating Ring of Honor, that the Ring of Honor championships should not be defended on an AEW pay-per-view. Ring of Honor is very similar to NXT in a lot of regards, very different in a lot of regards also, don't get me wrong, but they are treated as more of a developmental brand. They have their own set of pay-per-views or PLEs, what have you. We don't need AEW has enough titles as it is on the main roster. We don't need to be creeping ROH's titles into AEW. Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, when they did it, you talk about the Hangman and Joe thing?
No, I'm talking because Mercedes is
the challenge. You're maybe a little let down. It wasn't somebody else the way they had it worded. Yeah, it's a classic kind of.
But I mean, now Mercedes has a Ring of Honor championship as well as 10 other championships. Well,
how is she gonna? I'm guessing she's gonna have to start dropping these championships because doesn't she have to defend? Isn't there, statute of limitations on when you defend it and whatnot?
There used to be. I don't know if there is now. There should be.
I guess each independent organization or whatnot is got different rules, but interesting. Okay.
But no, you had Mina Shirakawa, the interim Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
No, is it the interim Women's Champion or Women's Television Champion?
Television. You are correct. I apologize. The interim Women's World Television Championship from Ring of Honor. No, I apologize. I misspoke there. Yeah, you now have Mercedes holding that championship. So that's 11. And I get the Ultimo reference, but how dare she besmirch the name of Ultimo Dragon by putting that in her moniker?
Oh, I love it. It just makes you hate you. I hope she wins 30 belts. I do. I hope she has 30 belts out there at some point. It just is so ridiculous, and it makes it even better. It makes it even better. And I'm not a Ultimo Monet fan, but it do better if she keeps winning belts. This doesn't end for quite some time.
And she's got her eyes on another belt. This Mercedes match took place right after Kris Statlander successfully defended her title. They had a stare down at the beginning of the match, or before Mercedes' match took place, and then Statlander came back out, and there was another stare down after. So they're teasing something there.
Yeah. I mean, there was some good.
You say that you want Mercedes to have 30 belts. I do not want her to take that belt off of Kris Statlander anytime soon. She can have a belt.
I know. I mean, I think that's they're building towards next. I don't know what show they want that on. I don't know what's big enough for them. No, they have Full Gear coming up. They all have Wrestle Dynasty coming up.
World's End.
No, I'm sorry. Full Gear and then World's End.
No, that's okay. Wrestle Dynasty was that a one-off, or are they bringing that back?
The one-off last year that coincided with Wrestle Kingdom, which is the next week in January or whatever. So,
fair.
A couple of big shows coming up. Also, believe Guts is coming up as well for AEW, and our friend Joe the Show Winkle was watching the show last night, and he mentioned that he had heard that Blood and Guts was going to be a women's featured match this year. So I'm interested to see who the 10 women are and how they're going to escalate a feud this quick to make it worthy of blood and guts. Not saying women can't do it. I just don't know of a hot enough feud in AEW right now.
Whereas you've got the Death Riders against everybody, that's already built in, and they have enough members to do a blood and guts match against any number of people that they've taken out.
Right.
I guess wait and see. Stay tuned, right?
What? Absolutely stay tuned. What was the length on Timeless Tony and Kris Statlander?
That was 16:35. And then
it worked. It worked.
Did. Monet and Shirakawa went 16:10. So the women's world title had a little bit more time than the TBS title did.
My 3 favorite matches of the night on this card are all under 22 minutes. Well, maybe not. They're all under. Maybe not all under 22 minutes. I think.
Are you going to name
this
them all?
Women's match?
Yeah.
Not in particular order. The women's title match. Okay.
Yep.
Joe Hangman.
Okay.
How long was that?
19.
Bingo. And Bucks and Jurassic Express.
21:35.
Bingo. All those matches under 22 minutes.
And it worked. That's why we're
okay. Well, he's catering to your taste. Maybe catering the taste here in a little bit when we this main event, but some other matches first. But yeah, you're turning in for a particular thing, I guess, when you have to view the product you're watching without through the product that you've watched or reviewed before as glasses. I get that.
Right.
And I went into this as possible. I'm like, you know what? I think I've, watched the show the other night. I've got the background on the matches, the stories. Just 3 or 4 matches here I'm looking forward to watching. Dude, I was good. I knew that it was going to be long.
Right.
But other than that, I just named you 3 matches I thought were the 3 best matches on the card. And, they're just helping me support my argument. Like, you don't have, like, last week at the Dreamwave show, talked with Dijak before the show. I talked about his match with Obafemi and Josh Briggs at Stand and Deliver at WrestleMania 40 weekend. So last year. And how, like, that was the NXT match of the year. It was an absolute war, and I think it was under 15 minutes. I think he said it's like 13 something. I can't remember, but it's like we both like looked at each other and talked about like how like you don't need long matches to have greatness. Like that was greatness in like 15 minutes or less,
Right.
with entrances included. So well, what I'm saying is like what I feel were the 3 best matches on the card, and I feel if you asked a lot of other people what the 3 best matches on the card were, I think a lot of people would say those 3 matches I mentioned, if not a good majority would.
I don't disagree. I would even give credit to Jamie Hayter and Tekla. That's another match that was under 22 minutes. That was
Jamie Hayter and Tekla was even better than Mercedes and Shirakawa
and they did it all in 15 minutes and 35 seconds.
Like exactly. Now I know there's long matches out there that are excellent, and I'm not saying that long matches aren't good, but
by no means are we poo-pooing on length of matches itself. It's just quantity versus quality. Sometimes less is more.
And I had a feeling that the longest match would have been Moxley and Darby, since it was kind of the blow off to the feud. Now, I had read something for this show, and then since talking in our chat group with our good friend of the show, Voice SCW Pro Live, Tim Regal, and he said that the Missouri Commission would not allow bleeding. That's one of their rules. So AEW was really up against it, especially in that main event, with no rules rules or with no bleeding being allowed.
Yeah, they had their back against the wall there, and there was some incidental bleeding, but not intentional. Like I believe Hangman had bit his tongue at one point during his match with Samoa Joe, but no bleeding. That main event. Well, let me just let's talk about the main event, and then we'll wrap things up on a good note with Hangman and Joe.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Did the fact that there couldn't be any bleeding take away from this brutal, what is supposed to be a brutal match from two of the most, let's just face it, two of the most sadistic wrestlers in the business today?
I'll tell you what, I didn't need to have blood. I just expected there to be, and then after I had read that beforehand and after Regal had said that, I read what Regal had said afterwards. It just made sense that's why they did.
Right.
I didn't need to see it, but it's kind of a glaring omission when every other time they've pretty much battled, there's been blood, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't take anything away from me because, how long could this match night when I was watching this show? How long could it be when neither of these guys are going to say I quit?
Right.
And the problem I have is it's just getting harder and harder to do these I quit matches. I mean, we had attempted murder last night in the main event. I mean, a guy intentionally holding a guy's head under a water in a tank. Okay. I can suspend disbelief just enough, but that's kind of like eye roll thing. Keep it within the confines of what we see in a wrestling match.
Right.
Okay. Oh, but you liked the Buried Alive match last week. Yes, tongue in cheek. I love the Buried Alive match, but there were no attempted drownings in that.
And it's not like they were literally buried alive last week.
I know, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like that part. And these guys have gone to war, and it ends in a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
And not only does it end in a sharpshooter, but it's Jon Moxley that quits in the sharpshooter. Moxley, who has no quit in him whatsoever. I'm not saying that Darby does.
Well, Moxley was choked out by the Mount Everest flag.
That's fair, but still, I mean, he had enough consciousness to say I quit when he was in the sharpshooter. He wasn't completely choked out.
I know. I mean, you didn't even talk about the biggest thing that happened in this match.
Well, of course. I mean, that's what made this match better. And do you want me to say it or do you want to say it?
I want you to say it. My voice is kind of struggling this weekend.
Fair enough. Towards the end of the match, the lights go out and the commentators.
Wait a second. The lights went out. The lights went out and you thought it was the Shield, didn't you?
No, I thought it was the Undertaker. But there was no gong.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the lights go out, and then the lights come back on, and it's Sting!
That was a good one.
God bless Tony Schiavone, who I love that man. And spoiler, I talk a little bit about Tony in my article coming up this week, so stay tuned for that on Thursday.
When this variation of a Sting action figure comes out, it's going to be the Sting white on white face.
Right.
It's the Sting paint, and then his face is white, and then his beard is white as
and
well.
His hair is white.
Yes, it's white on white on white. And yes, there was that moment. And having Sting back in the ring just kind of made sense. Darby's his counterpart. And I mean, it's kind of a passing of the torch. He passes off the baseball bat and walks away.
Yeah.
He did interject a few times because Darby was getting his butt kicked, by the Death Riders, and he even the odds up. But yeah, gave passing of the torch moment, walked away, still able to make a big impact. And of course, one of the major things that AEW has done right was the booking and how they treated Sting.
Yeah.
It's Sting! Great to hear that again. Anytime Sting can make an appearance and Tony Schiavone's on the call, it's worth it to me. So that was cool. I guess it kind of saved the ending of that match, but I just thought with the brutality these guys have portrayed in this feud and in the vignettes and everything, like Darby Allen's been through hell against these guys.
Right.
And they have beaten the crap out of him, and he's nearly died and all this. And absence of blood, no. I've had enough blood personally.
And when I say that,
doing the Eddie Guerrero JBL thing with Joe and WrestleBacks. So the blood last night, it didn't bother me, but it's kind of like it's kind of missing because, Darby had welt marks on his back. He did have like a open wound on his side, maybe from the table, kind of like the Bob Holly thing where the table lacerated him or something. But I mean, it wasn't. They couldn't blade, so to speak. So, but I think the match was fine. Just the ending, I just did not like the ending.
No,
and
I agree.
know what they're doing is catering to a different crowd, and I understand that. But I think a lot of people felt the same way I did about the ending. Like, what? That's it? So
it was kind of like, you have this build and you have these two guys who will do anything to beat the other one into submission.
Right.
And it's kind of like the air just got sucked out of the room when Mox submitted to the sharpshooter.
Yep.
It's like, oh, that's it? Oh,
okay. The war is over. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess the war's over. I'm interested more in like what's next for Darby Allen.
Right.
What's he do next? Because he's wrapped up so much time. I mean, these Sting battled the Death Riders with him when Sting was still active. So like this thing's been going on for such a long time. Like, where's Darby Allen go now? So I am interested in that, of course.
Can we put him in the world title picture? Does that make sense?
You're gonna have face on face with him and Hangman?
No, it's true, but I mean, here's the thing. I like Darby Allen. This is not discrediting him in any way, shape, or form. I don't think he's a world champion type of guy, but I also think he's put in enough time and effort that he deserves to hold it once, at least.
I think at some point he will. I really do. I do at some point. I don't know when it is. When's MJF return? Of course, they're kind of running low on heels, and we have a new heel group after last night. I think we need to talk about this match before we wrap this up for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW World title against Samoa Joe, former AEW champion, world champion.
Former AEW champion, Ring of Honor champion. He's
current trios champion with the Ops, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs.
They listed so many
a really good physical match with Hangman Adam Page. And, Joe is doing what Joe's supposed to do here in his final run, man. He is supposed to go out there and make the current champion look like $1 million. And at the same time, Hangman is going to go out there and take an ass beating. Right. And he took an ass beating last night. And he gave one back to Joe. And it was such a great moment after the match. Hangman, battled and then hits Joe with 3 consecutive buckshots. And, we get back to where this whole thing started, where, Hangman got the belt to Joe and kind of dropped it because Joe didn't grab it. Here, Joe hands it to Hangman Page, shake hands, hugs, then a lariat. That was good. That was really good because the crowd was chanting for Joe. Thank you, Joe. And boom, gut punch. That was a cool moment. I really enjoyed it.
Not only that, but he had his buddies from the Ops out there.
They turned heel with him. So, which makes sense because We had a number one contenders match earlier in the night for the trios, and now we're going to get the Hurt Syndicate against the Ops. That could be fun.
That is going to be a brutally physical match.
Joe and Lashley, Joe and Shelton beating the crap out of each other.
I can just hear.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm not a big fan of the chant, but I can just hear the crowd. Meat, 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 meat.
Oh, we hurt people is going to be. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So, I mean, overall, I'd probably give this show a B-. I 3 matches I told you about, I thought were the 3 best on the show. You had that great ending with Samoa Joe and that moment, and then turning heel and catching everyone off guard. That was a cool moment, showing you that this isn't over. They're not done with Hangman Page and Joe yet, which I like. Joe needs to get his flowers while he can, since he's announced he's retiring at the end of his contract, guessing within the next year, 2 years. So good to see Joe still involved in the main event picture. I'll never say get him out of there. I got so much respect for the guy. So I'm excited in that front. Once again, cut some fat off these matches and off the show. Get this thing down to 3.5 hours. I might bump you up to a B+, but right now, solid B- is where I would keep it, and really enjoy the matches that that I mentioned as my 3 top matches from the show.
Yeah, and I criticize a lot, but I'm right there with you. Solid B- is where I would rank this as well. Nick, let's give a little preview to some of the things coming up. It's just like Joe is not done with Hangman Adam Page, we're not done with Samoa Joe. We can officially announce our next WrestleBacks episode, and I'm going to let you take it away since this is your match, buddy.
Okay, there we go. We just had our second episode a couple weeks back. If you want to search the archives, of course, WrestleBacks, rewatchable, must-see matches coming up on Tuesday, November 4th. That little thumbnail there on the TV screen. That is a young Samoa Joe taking a chop from Kenta Kobayashi. This is widely considered the best match in Ring of Honor history. It was a huge deal at the time in 2005. Joe was still doing stuff with Ring of Honor, and he was signed with TNA. But this match kind of like vaulted Ring of Honor into the stratosphere amongst wrestling fans. So we're going to go back and review it. It's one of the most physical wrestling matches I've ever seen. And if you are a fan of 2 dudes beating the crap out of each other, good for you, because you can find this match on YouTube and you'll be able to go back and maybe discuss along on the show with us as we discuss it. This match is on YouTube. I think it's like 23 minutes long. It's not over the top long, but it's one of the greatest matches you'll see, where the crowd is amazingly a part of the match, participating, and the 2 guys are feeding off it, and they give us a classic. So this one's going to be a lot of fun. Find it on YouTube, Ring of Honor 2005, I think October 2005, Samoa Joe versus Kenta Kobayashi.
I can't wait. And that's the beginning of next month. As we near the end of this month, Mr. Zach Takis and I will be back with a friend of Zach's, Vinny Cataldo. He'll be joining us. He's on a fitness journey of his own and a big wrestling fan. So that is our Wrestling with Fitness on October 29th, Wednesday, last Wednesday of the month. And Nick, we've got a guest that we've had briefly on for Convergence and our podcasts collide this coming Sunday, next Sunday, as we record this. I'm excited. The Untamed Lion, Leo Santel, is joining us next Sunday right here on Card Subject to Change, and that's going to be a hell of an episode. I can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to talking with him. We spoke with him briefly at the Convergence show. We're going to have him on here long form. Of course, talk about his life in wrestling, but of course his wrestling fandom. That's why we want to get these guys and gals in here and talk about wrestling, and that's why we're here at Card Subject to Change. Of course, the podcast by the fan, for the fan, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. Very proud to be a part of the For Frequency's Sake podcasting network.
Very much so. That is going to put a bow on this episode of Card Subject to Change. So thank you all for tuning in. Apologize that it wasn't live, but this was fun. A lot of fun discussing AEW's WrestleDream. You dream, I dream. We all dream of wrestling, right?
Yes.
But we will see you right back here next Sunday for another episode of Card Subject to Change. Go enjoy the rest of your week.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.